To me, I think American girls, the top age for you not to be a turn off and still live with roommates is around 26, no?
Yeah, but I was just gonna say 26, 27.
6 is like a safe place to start.
You've had
to get your shit together.
I'm almost 30.
30. Okay, yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I've lived out of home for 9 years.
I haven't lived at home since I was 18 years old, so like I can't relate, and I don't understand, and I don't want to live at home.
I love my parents.
I love my parents too, but
I visit them.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in the country, I live with them for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Actually, but
Mira,
not full time.
eso nos lleva. That takes us to exactly what I wanted to talk about, which is this.
I just read them.
Here, I'm gonna show. Does living with your parents at age 30 make you a loser? Okay.
I'm so opinionated about this. Try not to be like terrible.
Okay, so this is a Reddit thread, right? As a Reddit, there's a bunch of people talking about like, pretty much what we are discussing here. Maybe, it's just it could be justified, if it's really hard for you to get a job in whatever you want to do.
Yeah, people have different things going on, disabilities, divorce,
Yeah, and if they lived away from home, but now, for some reason, they're spending a year again at home at 30 years old, okay, that's okay. But if you've never left your home and you are 30 years old, I do kind of think you're a loser, for lack of better words. I'm sorry.
En España? No, 100%. You know what? I kind of agree too. I'm Spanish. Listen, I'm Spanish, and I come from my family is. I come from a really poor family. I don't come from wealth. All right, my family. My mom is a cleaner. Mm-hmm. My dad, he's been working in construction all his life. But I went to college. I studied. I didn't study I'm not an engineer or anything. I studied more linguistics, applied linguistics, and English literature and English ESL and stuff like that. But which is it's good, but it's not so good because the money is in the numbers in tech, finance, and business management and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Our teachers do.
But I realized that when I started traveling, and that's why I'm doing more of a tech job now, because I couldn't live with a teacher, just a regular teacher job. But anyway, that's besides the point. But what I wanted to kind of say is, it does make you a loser, no? You would say. Now, do you think it's the same? Okay, I'm gonna switch it around. Do you think if I'm a guy, I'm an American guy, so if I like I'm an American girl, and she's, let's say I'm 28 and she's 26, and she's still living with her parents. For guys, do you think it's easier not to think she's a loser because she's a girl, or do you think it's only girls towards guys?
No, I think even if it 26, I would still give you the leeway. If it was a 30-year-old woman still living with her parents, I think she's a loser as well. I don't want to say loser.
Okay.
It's just someone I can't relate to, because it's just why are you still in your childhood bedroom? Why have you not I don't know, gone out and you dated traveled, or just lived on your own and figured out who you were outside of the shadow of your parents or your siblings or whatever, or your family pressure that's put on you.
Mira, en España hay una costumbre que it's changing now because everybody's becoming more international and stuff. But it's like a tradition. Some people they usually when they marry and they find a couple, a partner, they buy an apartment close to their parents, because they feel more comfortable being close to their parents. Maybe not the house next to them, but they're very close. So that but I have talked about this with other American people, and they say that's also childish or immature, or what do you think?
Para mí es algo que yo no quiero hacerlo. Pero, por ejemplo, mis padres y mi hermana mayor, ellos viven, no sé, 8 casas
Next to them, ¿no?
Next to, yeah. En el
Al
mismo
lado,
barrio,
cerca,
al lado
cerca.
de, sí, otras casas.
Claro.
10 minutos por andando y para mí es demasiado cerca. Pero entiendo con
What's
los niños.
What's a safe distance for you to live?
I mean, I live in another country, so.
Oh, that's too much.
No, but I mean, I
But
totally.
you love your parents, right?
I love my parents, yeah, but I also we see the world a little differently, and they support me, and I love them, and I love to go visit them, but I don't need them around all the time. I've gotten asked by a lot of Spanish people, like, don't you miss your family?
Right,
like,
right.
da, da, da. Like, yeah, but also, like, they're there, and I don't need to be seeing them every weekend, or I don't know.
You video
like,
chat a lot with them? You video chat or something?
I wouldn't say a lot. We, like, probably every month. I'm
Every month.
busy. I don't
Yeah.
I just
know.
realized it's been a month since I've been here and I haven't video chatted with my family. But we
Yeah.
talk on WhatsApp. We have like a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, we have a family.
We share things. I
Chat.
share a lot more actually than they share with me sometimes. I'm like, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. They're like, wow. Amazing.
But I get if you have kids, you do need so much help.
Oh,
So
you're saying that's
I
a
wanna
game
explain-
that's a game changer.
That's kind
no?
of a game changer, and I can understand why people live close to their parents
Once they have.
kids, because you need so much help.
Okay.
Like it really does take a village to raise a family. So
That's an expression, ¿no? It takes a village to raise whatever, ¿no?
to raise a kid,
To raise a kid.
child.
Mira, chicos, it takes a village to do whatever. Eso es como que es muy duro hacer lo que sea. Es una expresión hecha, un idiom que se utiliza.
Falta una comunidad.
Hace falta una comunidad para criar un hijo, Y tú querías que ibas a decir algo, ¿no?
Oh, I was just gonna say that, like, nothing against your sister or anything, but sometimes people tend to move closer to their parents just so they can get free babysitting, and I found
Claro,
this a lot
it's a
in
selfish though,
America.
¿no? That's a little selfish.
A lot
¿no?
of people, like, we know in our family, we always talk about it as my parents and my sisters and I, you know, we're kind of like, oh, like, they're just trying to move, you know, down the street so that they can get free babies, you know, kind of thing. It's like, it's kind of unfair to expect that, especially if they're still working, even if they're not, you know, if they're retired, they want to just like relax. Like, of course, it's really nice to have your grandparents near you. And I didn't grow up with that. I was,
Me
my
neither.
parents were, you know, my parents were in America and me and my grandparents were in New Zealand. So
Okay.
I was lucky when I went to university to see my grandparents a whole lot more. I had all four when I first went there and stuff, so that was amazing.
Where did you go to university?
It's called the University of Waikato in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I moved there, like, to Hamilton, which is where my mum's parents lived, and then my dad's parents lived like 5 hours away, and they
Okay.
still live there. So my dad's parents. So yeah, I was like really lucky to have them close. But I imagine if they had just lived down the road, you know, my parents could have, for example, just been like, hey, we want to go out on Friday. Like, hey, can you take the kids? And then you kind of feel pressure to, I don't know.
My mom has set very clear boundaries of the
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And also, they moved. My sister lived there first. My parents moved close to them. So
I've heard of this too, which is sweet. Like, it's really sweet.
no, I mean it works perfect for my sister and my parents. Like that situation, it works wonderful for them. It's just I don't want to live in Idaho. Also, that's where my parents
That's
live
right.
now.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if my parents want to come live in Spain and help me with my future children, wonderful. But
Well, mira,
I don't know about potatoes.
yeah, potatoes.
what would you say the most awkward parts of living with your parents are as an adult? The most awkward things. Como situaciones
Haven't had it happen,
incómodas.
but-
Yeah.
You know, having a boyfriend. or
I would say
something
having a
be-
boyfriend,
would be
Having a
uncomfortable.
boyfriend,
That
no?
hasn't
Yeah.
happened to me while I've been like visiting home. But yeah, just trying to like get to know people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's part of the process, no, of just growing up and
knowing what to
figuring
pay for,
figuring things
yeah.
out for yourself. No, what do you really want to do in your life?
It's like I'm home and I'm like trying to pay for everything, you know. And then my parents actually, because I haven't lived with them since I was 18, they almost try to make up for it. It seems where they're like, "Oh, I've just filled up the car with gas." Like they just give me a car ticket. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. I can pay for my own, you know, gas.
I feel like it also makes me appreciate my parents
It
a lot
does.
more. Like, it's so hard to just take care of yourself sometimes. And so it's so nice to go home and have someone cook your meals for you and
Yeah.
and clean up after you. And it's like, oh,
Get
like,
used to it.
I know. It's like, thank you so much for doing that for the first 18 years.